roll call right after the meeting.
Good morning. Welcome to Commissioners Court. It's 10 a.m. on Monday, February the 23rd. All members of Commissioners Court are present, constituting a quorum, and the meeting will come to order. Item number 2 is invocation by Reverend Thomas E. Muirhead from the First Baptist Church in Batson. Good morning. Everybody will please rise.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, you gave Solomon the wisdom to govern your people. And we ask that you would grant that same wisdom today here in this court. We ask, Lord, that you would enable this court to find your will and ennoble this court in the way and manner in which they find your will. Father, grant truth and justice and the right to lead here, and grant also at the same time that your heart of mercy and benevolence and love would rule here as well. Father, let this be your place, accomplishing your will for the people of this county. Thank you, Lord, for all the men and women in this entire government, county government here who are serving you today. Bless them in their jobs, enable them. Father, we pray for the children in the schools of this county that today that they would be educated, Lord, the way that you want them to be. Be with the teachers and the administrators. Lord, all of our policemen and firemen, whether full-time or volunteer. Lord, be with the economy in this area. There's been many layoffs, and we pray for those who are out of jobs. Father, so it's important, all the business that's done here, because it's for the people and it's for you. It's in the name of your precious Son, Jesus, that we pray and ask all of this. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend. Mr. Roberts.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number 4, Glenda Austin, County Clerk. Approval of minutes of prior meetings. Connie?
My name is Connie Beckton, and I'm filling in for our county clerk, Glenda Austin, and I'm presenting the minutes in a regular meeting for February 9th for approval to the court.
Make a motion, accept the minutes. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Roberts and a second by Commissioner Pelt. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 5, Deborah McWilliams, County Treasurer. Presentation approval of cash statement.
Today we have in our general checking account $1,285,735.92. In our tax pool general account, we have $12,629,129.34 for a total cash funds of $13,914,865.26.
David, you put that in our packet?
Yes, sir. I thought I did. Did I? Okay. I'll get you one.
Okay. You put it in here this morning, didn't you, Debbie?
I thought I put it in there on Friday.
Okay.
I did it on Friday afternoon. If not, I'll make sure I get you one.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
I move we approve the cash statement.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Cooper and a second by Commissioner Kirkendall to accept the cash statement. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 6, Deborah McWilliams, presentation approval of registered claims to be canceled by court.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Cooper. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 7, Angela Gore, County Auditor, payment of county bills. Laura?
For pre-approved expenditures for February 11th of 2015 were $18,289.32. Pre-approved expenditures for February the 18th, 2015 were $28,129.80. And today, February 23rd, 2015, the expenditures for Commissioners Court are $493,407.31 for a total expenditures of $539,826.43. The gross payroll for February 19, 2015 was $426,647.11. FICA was $30,937.14. Retirement was $57,792.99. For a total transfer for February 19th, 2015 for payroll was $515,377.24.
Move to pay the county bill.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Cooper and a second by Commissioner Roberts to pay the county bills. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 8, Sheriff Ed Kane, introduction of new Deputy Sheriff Richard Nelson.
We've got an old, new, familiar face back at the sheriff's office. Richard Nelson started his career in law enforcement, had 10.5 years with the Texas Department of Corrections. He went into the Highway Patrol, retired there after 20 years. I had the privilege of training him when he came out back to Hardin County. And after retirement from the DPS, he has now decided to get back into law enforcement, and we've just hired him as our newest deputy sheriff. And so we're glad to have Richard and all his experience. He was a sergeant in Highway Patrol, and he's also a sergeant in training, which was over the driving track out in Florence, and has a wealth of experience in training, and especially driving area. So it's a lot of good knowledge to our county. Richard Nelson. Thank you.
I'm just happy to be back.
We're happy to have you. Thank you. All right, item number 9, Judge McDaniel, discussion action to create a new visiting judge line item in county judge's budget and move $2,000 from county judge miscellaneous line item to account number 010-400-490 to effect change. This is a line item that the other 2 courts have for a visiting judge, and I have an invoice from November. Actually, the invoice is dated at the end of December, but the work was done in November for a visiting judge, and I need to be able to pay that. And so we need a line item to pay that invoice out of. Rather than paying it out of miscellaneous, because it's not a miscellaneous expense, I requested to have this line item added to my budget and then move the money from miscellaneous to the visiting judge line item in order to pay that invoice.
Move it. Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Roberts. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 10, discussion approval to file an application with U.S. Department of Agriculture, Rural Development for financial assistance for construction of new courthouse health services annex/storage building. This is in response to the public hearing that we had at 9:45 this morning. There was no opposition to us applying for that grant.
I move that we approve the filing of the application.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Pelt. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 11, Rose Stewart, personnel. Discussion, action regarding revised workers' compensation policy and revised retirement policy. Good morning, Rose.
Good morning. Okay, on the workers' compensation policy, it currently reads all Hardin County employees, full-time and part-time, are covered by workers' compensation while on duty for the county. The revised version is all Hardin County employees, elected officials, and reserve deputies are covered by workers' compensation while on duty for the county.
Is that the only change?
Yeah.
That's the only change. It really should have read like that all along, because the elected officials and reserve deputies are also covered under workers' comp.
I move that we accept the revised workers' compensation policy.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Cooper to accept the revised workers' compensation policy. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Did you have something else,
Yeah.
Commissioner Pelt?
Rose, is this in compliance with the tax policy that we have that covers workers' comp?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You want to go over the retirement policy as well?
Yes. And both of these policies have been looked over by our county attorney, Ms. Rebecca Walton. On the retirement policy, and currently the way it reads, if we have an employee who qualifies for retirement but leaves the county and maybe is gone for 3, 4, 5 years and chooses not to get on our insurance, but after that time, you know, he then decides to come back and get on our insurance. He can, and we'd like to change that. Our county auditor also requested to change that if an employee who leaves employment with Hardin County has to choose if he qualifies, if he has his 8 years of service in and is, you know, or 30 years of service or, you know, age plus service equals 75, that they have to choose to whether they want to stay on the county insurance at the time when he leaves. Because currently they could possibly leave and 2 or 3 years later decide to go back on that county insurance, and they could do that because they will qualify for it. And we want to, you know, close that loophole because we feel like it's not good practice for an employee to leave and then come back and be able to go on the insurance.
It makes it hard to budget for that as well,
Yes,
right?
it does.
Is that the reason this was brought up?
Yes, it does. It very
And
much
still-
does.
The portion the county provides for them is still 50% up to the time they're eligible for Medicaid or Medicare.
Yes, sir. Age 65. Mm-hmm.
But they have to elect it at the time they retire, right?
Yes, sir. At the time that they're leaving, they don't necessarily have to retire. They can just leave, but qualified could retire if they so choose. So with the change in the wording, now they will have to choose at the time that they're leaving, and they cannot come back later on to ask to come back on the
The
insurance.
number of retirees that we have that are eligible for this benefit are kind of slim, isn't it?
Well, it could have an impact on the
Future.
budget. Future. Yes, sir.
Okay, is there a number that have already retired, I think is what another one's at, that have already retired, that have not elected to take the insurance but are eligible for it right now because of the past policy?
Well, there are very few at this time.
Okay, are they gonna be made aware that that loophole is gonna be closed on them, so they will have a chance if they want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I move we authorize the revised retirement policy for Hardin County.
Have a motion by Commissioner Cooper and a second by Commissioner Pelt. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Rhoda.
Thank you.
Item number 12, Valerie Davis, Victims Assistance Center. Adoption of resolution number 3-15, approving submission of Victims of Crime Act grant, otherwise known as VOCA, application number 1366017 to the Office of the Governor, Criminal Justice Division. Good morning, Valerie.
Good morning. Okay, grant number 1366017. This year, what they have decided to do in Austin is to combine our grants. Normally, we work 3 grants under VOCA, and in the past, they each had a cap of $50,000 apiece. This year, they have raised the cap. There is no cap at all on the grants, but, and they're combining them all and doing one. So that's why you only see me coming before you for one resolution today. The grant this year is about $240,000, adding a position on our, to our office. I'm adding a bilingual position, and this past year we served about 450 clients in this county, still ranging, we still cover the same crimes ranging from homicide, sexual assault, child abuse. We're still open 24 hours a day. I've recently hired staff, recently lost one of those, so we're down again. I've got one job posted. Be glad to answer any questions about our office and our grants.
Valerie, being that we're filing only one, is it gonna change the match?
No, sir, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that. No, sir, the cash match, this grant's been going on for 17 years. The cash match in the beginning was $2,604. It's still $2,604. Also, in the in-kind side, the county agreed long years ago for the office space, and that's rated at $4,032. And that still stays the same. The rest of the in-kind, because we have to match at a rate of 20% on these grants, and the rest of the in-kind will come through volunteer hours.
I don't have anything else, Judge.
On the additional position that you've mentioned, is that a part-time position?
No, sir, it'll be
A
full.
full-time position? Any other questions?
Well, will there be, any burdens that we'll have to pick up, or is the grant gonna take care of the burdens?
No, sir, everything will be under the grant except for the $2,604. And they do take that out right at the beginning. That's taken out first, the cash match is, and then they start working on the grant funds.
I wish we had this available in law enforcement whenever I was there for a bilingual deputy to ride with me all the time.
Yeah. And we're getting to where we're seeing it more and more, and if we don't have the bilingual position, a lot of times our Hispanic culture is just throwing up their hands because they're tired of dealing with us just like, we don't understand them, they don't understand me, so I talk country slang.
I move we adopt resolution number 3-15.
Have a motion by Commissioner Cooper to adopt resolution number 3-15 and second by Commissioner Pell. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Valerie. Item number 13, David Sheffield, District Attorney. Adoption of resolution number 4-15, authorizing submission of Violence Against Women Act, otherwise known as VAWA, grant 2016 application to the Office of the Governor, Criminal Justice Division for a prosecutor. Good morning, Mr. Sheffield.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning. We're just asking for authorization for really the continuation of our Violence Against Women Act grant, which provides a prosecutor and some additional funding to facilitate that. And this year, our cash match to the county, if you just want to get to the bottom line, is going to be a little bit less. Last year was $30,892. This year, the proposed cash match is $30,294, which would be $598 less. We got your memo, by the way, about spending, Judge.
Thank you.
And anyway, total project cost is $116,999. Our grant amount is $76,049. This is going to be get us into the second year. This grant, and we ask that you approve it so that we can go forward and keep providing the services that we are currently doing with this grant.
Okay.
David, I don't think the question was asked last year, and if it was, I missed it. Do we know how long this grant's for, and will our match ever increase, to your knowledge?
Well, the grant is year to year.
Okay.
And whether or not it would increase or not would just depend upon the numbers that are within the total project. A certain amount of the expenditures are covered by the governor's office under the grant. This year, our cash match is going down a little bit because there's some equipment and such that we already have. Also, the valuation of the square footage of the office space went up just a little bit. So the actual outlay by the county is going down. I would submit to you that it's probably going to be pretty stable within that range from here on out, because I don't see any additional expenditures that we're not already expending on.
But this is not one of those grants where I've seen in the past where this year we're 80-20, next year 75-25.
No, sir. No, sir. No, it's not a declining grant.
I move we adopt resolution number 4-15.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Cooper to adopt resolution 4-15. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Item number 14, Sheriff Ed Kane. Presentation of Tier 1 Partial Exemption Racial Profiling Report for 2014. Okay, any questions on that?
Would y'all like a presentation, or y'all have any questions?
Yeah,
Go
will
ahead
you
and
do a
tell us about it.
presentation?
Okay. Each year, by March the 1st, we have to provide a report to the state of Texas, and this report pertains to racial profiling. It deals with stops that we make, traffic stops that are initiated by the officer, that deals with an arrest or a citation being issued. This year, we filed our report. If you'd like, each of you should have a copy of it, but if you'd like for me to read it, I'll be glad to do that. That's your choice.
This is the same report that we filed in the previous years for what, about 10 years? Give or take,
That'd be close.
annual report?
Ernie, can you explain the partial exemption?
Partial exempt means that we have cameras in our cars, and due to the data being collected from those cameras on those traffic stops or pedestrian stops, that allows us not to have to keep certain data that would go into this report, which creates an exemption for us.
It doesn't look like there's any action that we need to take on that, just accept the report. Is that right?
That's just info.
Okay, thank you, Major, we appreciate it.
Thank
I make a motion to accept the report.
I don't think we have to take any action.
We don't?
Those were just,
Good.
just a presentation. All right, item number 15, Sheriff Kane, presentation of annual sheriff's report for 2014.
You all should have in front of you a copy of the UCR report for both 2013 and 2015. I'm sorry, 2013 and 2014. UCR is what we consider the 7 big crimes. It's homicides, forcible rapes, robbery, assault, burglary, theft, and motor vehicle thefts. These are the ones that are sent in to the Texas Department of Public Safety as well as the FBI each year. If you'll notice, in 2013 there, we had a total of 497 total UCR crimes. We cleared 256 of them for a 51% clearance rate. I might add that the national clearance rate is 17% and the state clearance rate is 19%. So 51% is outstanding. Basically, it's solving 5 out of every 10 crimes, UCR crimes committed in Hardin County. If you'll go to 2014, we had 492 total UCR crimes with a clearance rate of 343 of those, which moves us to 70%. We have been higher than this one other time where we were number 1 in the state of Texas with 79% clearance rate. This puts us in the top 10 for sure in the state. The downside to that, there's an increase in assaults from 2013 to 2014 by 29, a decrease in burglaries, decrease in thefts, and an increase in motor vehicle thefts. So in these numbers, there's always good news and bad news, I guess. Overall, our crime rate has stayed basically the same in the last 2 years. And if you look at it over, and I don't have those figures here, but if you look at it over the last 6 to 8 years, it doesn't change a whole lot. It's been up and down. We've had total calls for service. In 2013, we had 39,102 calls for service. In 2014, we had 46,538 calls for service. This is where dispatch received a call and actually sent a deputy, or a deputy did something with the call. That doesn't count all total phone calls that come into the dispatch. That's probably somewhere closer to 60,000 a year. In 2014, we had 3,798 total offenses, 3,027 total incidents. We filed a total of 2,939 charges, made 1,814 arrests, issued stopped 140 vehicles for traffic violations, warned 5 of them, cited 114 of them. The difference there is there's probably some verbal warnings there and nothing written, so therefore there's no stat kept on a verbal warning. We had 2,602 total criminal papers. We served 2,202 of them. There were 1,749 civil papers that were served by either the sheriff's office or the 6 constables in the county. 1,233 of those were served. We handled 205 mental situations. I say this to you because this is on a steep rise. We spent an average of 3 hours and 33 minutes per mental situation. And as I said again, these are really on the rise. It's a big problem throughout our state and our country here. We had a daily jail population of 134, daily average of 134 in 2013, went up to 159.52 in 2014. Comparing a little bit with the calls of service, the judge and I were talking about it and wanted to get some information from a couple of larger surrounding counties. So we went to Orange County and Jefferson County and was kind of shocked by this. In 2013, Orange County had 56,936 calls for service, and in 2014, Orange County had 62,992 calls for service. Jefferson County is the one that shocked me. Remember, we had 39,000 and 46,000. In 2013, they had 28,989 calls for service and 27,561 in 2014. So we have twice the calls of service for the rural area of Hardin County than the rural area of Jefferson County. Okay? So that gives you an idea. We have more territory to cover than they do and as many people rurally. So.
And their deputies make about 12,000 a year more than ours.
We just lost a deputy here to Jefferson County. We've lost several over the years. We just lost another one due to financial reasons, pay and insurance.
On the mental situation, I've caught wind they may be making some changes to Baptist. Have you heard that?
There's still a lot of talks going on as to how we're going to deal with these people, because quite often there's not beds open, so we're traveling different places all over the state, and there have been several occasions here recently where we've not had a bed anywhere. And so that really poses a problem, because you can't put these people in jail. They don't belong in jail, for one, and you can't, if you don't have a charge, you can't put them in jail. So
well, I'm hoping the legislature's got a priority this biennium, so I'm hoping they really do something to help law enforcement out. So it is a huge need. I don't know that the community understands it, but it's a huge need. Appreciate all the work your office does, Sheriff.
Thank you. Any other questions?
We appreciate the information.
Thank you.
And just to let everybody know, I had asked the sheriff to put this report together. They do it anyway. I asked him to present it to us in Commissioner's Court so that everybody could see what's going on in our county with regards to law enforcement from the sheriff's office. And I'll be meeting with other department heads periodically and talking about their offices and inviting them to come in and give a report as well. So just wanted to pass that on. That's the reason we did that. And I really appreciate you coming this morning and giving that information.
I think we talked about doing it quarterly so that you won't get a.
Yes, sir.
We'll work on that.
Thank you. All right, item number 16, discussion action to purchase property proximal to Courthouse Square from Mrs. Martha Richardson for construction of new Courthouse Health Services Annex/Storage Building. Commissioner Cooper, this is going to be two complete lots, is that right? And then 2 partial lots?
2 complete lots, Judge, if I remember correctly, lots 13 and 14 and partial of lots 5 and 6.
And we already own the rest of lots 5 and 6. That's where the parking lot is paved over there?
Correct.
Okay. We have a letter in our packet here. It's a letter of intent, offer of sale from Mrs. Richardson. Does anybody else have any other questions or
The
discussion?
breakdown on the, Judge, on the pay,
Okay.
the breakdown on the pay for these particular pieces of land is about equivalent to what the county paid in 2007 for lots in the same area. So I think, you know, of course, we would like to get it cheap as we can, but I think it's in a fair market, so.
And that was from 2007?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's exactly the same price.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Kirkendall?
On these 3 reservations that Ms. Richardson has,
Yes, sir.
is there a deadline of when she would be removing these items? In other words, are we gonna run into a problem that's gonna hinder us if she just hadn't got to it yet and we can't proceed with construction?
That's a good point. We probably need to put a deadline in there consistent with when we would start construction, but I don't think that'll be a problem. Jimmy McKim's handling that for us.
Does, Commissioner Cooper, do you have a recommendation for the deadline?
I have not spoke personally with Ms. Richardson. Like Mr. Pelt said, Mr. McKim had contacted her in regards to this, and she agreed on all this. I think it's a good question that Commissioner Kirkendall just brought up, because once we get all this finalized by the court, and especially if we're lucky enough to get any grant money, we want to go through as quickly as possible. So I would want her to know, what timeline we're looking at. The next step in the process is probably getting the property surveyed. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Pelt? So I would be open to recommendations on what we can put to her as far as a timeline.
Well, Ms. Ackridge said we were looking at a 30 to 60 day timeline on an answer from the USDA on the grant. What if we gave Ms. Richardson 60 days?
Yeah.
That'd be plenty.
On these reservations that she made? Does that sound good?
Yes,
Sounds
sir.
good to me.
Any other discussion
60 days from the time
from today?
from today. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we take action to purchase the property proximal to the courthouse square from Miss Martha Richardson for construction of a new courthouse health services annex storage building.
I second the motion also, Judge. Before we go further, do we need to specify where we want these funds to come from?
Yes, sir.
Contingency, I would imagine.
Okay, then I make that part of the motion, that we take it from contingency.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Cooper. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 17, Judge McDaniel, discussion and action to transfer $25,000 from contingency fund to new line item in Commissioner's Court budget for expenditures previously approved at the December 22nd, 2014 regular meeting for new courthouse health services annex/storage building. And this is going to be expenses for architect, site survey, ADA review, and preliminary soil report. Just as a note, this expense is already approved, but it was not mentioned where to spend that money from, and this just outlines that it will come from the contingency fund.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Kirkendall. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 18, Commissioner Pelt, permission to sell surplus equipment, being a 1978 Ferguson roller, serial number S915, a 1995 Ford truck, last four of the VIN being 6928, and tandem haul trailer on Renee Bates auction online.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Roberts. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 19, Judge McDaniel, permission to sign copier agreement with Star Graphics for Victims Assistance Center.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Cooper. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 20, Jackie Ellis, purchasing, permission to solicit bids for purchase of road and bridge materials for all precincts.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kirkendall and a second by Commissioner Pelt. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 21, Jackie Ellis, permission to solicit bids for purchase of road and bridge emulsions for all precincts.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Pelt and a second by Commissioner Cooper. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 22, Jackie Ellis, discussion and action to set workshops on new inventory and fixed assets policy. We talk about next Thursday, is that what you had mentioned? Is that good for all the commissioners, next Thursday at 10 a.m.?
What's that date?
Or is it this Thursday? This Thursday, the 26th, at 10 a.m.
I won't be able to be here.
What about Friday?
Either way, I'm going with my mom.
Okay.
For her checkup.
Okay.
If you wanna have it without me.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that the 26th at 10 a.m.?
Who with me?
Commissioner
Not
Pelt?
me.
Commissioner Roberts? Good with y'all? Okay, we'll set a workshop on new inventory and fixed assets policy, and that'll be on Thursday, February the 26th at 10 a.m. Item number 23, Jackie Ellis awarding a proposal for construction manager at risk for new courthouse health services annex/storage building. And Jackie, before you do that, I think Commissioner Cooper wanted to kind of give an update on the project before we go forward.
Thank you, Judge. Before you took office and Judge Caraway was sitting in your seat, he appointed a committee consisting of Commissioner Pelt, myself, and then Mr. Wayne McDaniel. And through the process so far, we have entered into an agreement with the architect where Mr. McDaniel was involved in that. But once Judge McDaniel took office, it was no longer feasible for him to sit on the committee with two other commissioners. So it's been myself and Mr. Pelt, and sitting in on our meetings with us is Jackie and Mitzi. And they've sat with us and done a lot of work, made us go to a lot of meetings. It's went pretty smooth so far, and like I said, so far where we're at on this project is we have entered into an agreement with an architect. The next thing that we'll do today is finalize, hopefully, enter into agreement with a construction manager at risk. Of course, two things that we've already done through the court is approve purchasing additional property that we're going to need over here for this building. And the reason behind that is that we hope to construct this building with intent to expand in the future as the county grows. So that's one reason why we was wanting to get this property, and I thought it was at a good price. So we're moving along pretty good. Mr. Pelt, myself, and Jackie and her assistant has done a lot of work on it, of course, with others, and I appreciate all the help that they have. Mr. Pelt, would you like to add anything?
No, would like to say that, yes, I would. In the process here, well, the architect, which is LaBeige Associates, and Commissioner Cooper have met with all the department heads that are going to be affected by this building, doing an assessment as to how many square feet we're going to need, and the architect is now working on that, and he will make a presentation to the committee, and then we will make a presentation to the court to determine the amount of square footage that we're going to need for this building, and proceed from there. But things are moving along. It's going to be a process. It's going to take a little while, but everything is looking good, especially if we get this grant from the government.
That'd be good.
Okay, Jackie. Thank you.
Okay, proposals for qualifications were opened on February the 12th at 2 p.m. in the Commissioners Court. We had 8 qualification proposals that were turned in. Grassroots Construction, L&L General Contractors, HB Mill Construction, Alco, C-Tex Construction, Goss Buildings, Daniels Building Construction, and McInnes Construction. The committee met on February the 13th and selected 4 proposers for interviews on February the 17th. And after much thought and deliberation, the committee selected Daniels Building Construction for the Commissioners Court to consider for approval.
Who were the final 4?
That was HB Mill, C-Tex, Daniels Building Construction, and McInnes.
McInnes was the last one you did. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Jackie. Mr. Pelt, would you like to add anything to that?
We had a lot of good applicants. We had 4 that we interviewed. All of them were good. It was a very, good position to be in, to have the number of good firms to submit proposals for this. This is the same route that we took in building the jail back several years ago. We went RFPs for a construction manager rather than going out for a bid from a general contractor. The construction manager at risk worked well in that case. Daniels was the construction manager at risk. The project came in, I believe it was $190,000, is that right, Cody? $190,000 under budget. And so based upon our experience with the jail, we went back out for construction manager at risk this time, and the county has had good experience with the Daniels construction firm. They were the choice based upon qualifications, which is basically what an RFP is selected upon. And we look forward to getting Cody on board, getting Daniels to start working with the architect. Because if you have a construction manager at risk rather than the architect going on his own, making estimates and drawing up plans and stuff, you have the actual firm that's going to be taking the individual bids for the project and the one that's going to be actually building the project, overseeing the building of it, so they can work together from the start. And I think this is the key to bringing a project in under budget, so that you have these two, the architect and the construction manager at risk, working together from the very start. And Mr. LaBeach, the architect, met with us the other day when we met with Cody after we had chosen him based upon qualifications. We're going to make a recommendation to the court, and they are set to start working, I guess probably this next week, on bringing a proposal to the court. And so it looks like everything with the land purchase and stuff, everything is going real good, and we hope to move it along as quickly as possible.
Okay, the only question I have is, are we gonna start incurring expenses?
We will start incurring expenses from the architect as he goes so far.
Okay, what about Daniels?
I had the same question. Will we incur any expenses before the 60 days comes up on the grant application? That was a question I had. It goes along with Commissioner Kirkendall.
Do you have the, I didn't bring it with me, do you have the pre-construction fee that Daniels put in their bid?
No, sir, I didn't bring that with me.
No, I don't think you have to.
Cody's sitting there, he probably knows it.
7,500, Cody?
Yes, sir, but, you know, in the next probably 30 to 60 days, I don't know how much will be happening, as far as the design. We'll be involved as we need to be with the architect, but if something happens and if, you know, this doesn't work out in the next 30 days, I think I can speak that we wouldn't charge the county for that work that we're gonna do in the next 30 days.
I think everything's gonna work out in the next 30 days.
I think that's a very good question Commissioner Kirkendall just asked, but the way it looks now, probably until we find out if we get this grant or not, the amount that we're using for the purchase of the property and the $25,000 that's been granted so far, that's coming out of contingency for the survey and soil samples and everything, plus a possibility of the 7,500, that should be all the expense pre-construction.
Right, here was my concern, is when we wrote it up.
Do we need to add the 7,500 to the, I mean, we'll have to do it in the next meeting, but do we need to add 7,500 to the 25,000? Is that what the?
Well, because we were specific.
At the time we get there, we will, but we're not at that point yet, so.
Yeah, I think there'll be we'll have to bring another cost before this court, because we're looking at some additional land, one, to complete the whole area there. And then second, the architect, and we've discussed this with the architect and with Daniels. The architect will do the surveys and come up with some preliminary plans to recommend to us. And there's two steps, and I think one of them was 15%, one was 20% if we go that far. We may just go to 15. But at that point, then we have in the contract, which Rebecca has been working with us, and we have it with both the architect and with the construction manager at risk, that at that point, we can suspend operations and look at if we're gonna have to go a bond issue and things like this. There is gonna be a gap of 6 to 9 months. And we've covered all of this in the contract so that we don't lose what we've started and have to start over. But go ahead.
We have put a number out there that the committee felt like that we could live with. At the stage that we're at right now, when Mr. LaBeach puts all this in his computer, once we met with all the department heads and everything, found out their needs, then they'll bring to us a preliminary drawing, if I understand it correctly, and then we will start critiquing to get that down to where we want it to be, because it's probably going to be over the square footage of what we're looking at right now. Right. And also, based on the square footage, the amount that the county's going to be out for this building. Right. And we have a certain figure that we've already looked at in there. So we hope that we can get that down to where we're wanting to be. And all the fees that are based on the architect, this 25,000, everything is based on that bottom number that we're gonna come up with, so hopefully we can get that on down to where everybody can live with it.
All right, so I'll follow up with this. Do we need to amend number 17 to include Daniels during this
I
time?
don't think
or
we can
good?
because it specifies a 25.
I would suggest that we wait, but we will be coming back to the court in a future court date. And the way this thing will work, from the architect, we will have a preliminary set of drawings and a perspective. We will have everything that we need to go to the public for a bond issue. And at that point, then the architect and the construction manager at risk will be put on hold, basically.
Okay.
And we worked all that out in the contract so that we don't lose what we've got, because, you know, once we see the total cost, estimated total cost, and then we'll know what we find out back from the USDA as far as whether we're gonna get a combination of grants, loans, or, you know, how we're gonna do. Then at that point, this court will have to make the decision as to how we plan to finance it. You know, I think that's still up in the air right now. If we get a large grant and didn't lack but a small amount, we might decide we want to take it out of a contingency fund or something. Right. If it's a little bit more than we feel comfortable, we might want to go certificates of obligation. If it's a large amount, then we might want to go bonds. But we've got it structured in the contract with both these individuals, both these firms, that once we get what we need to make a decision on how much we're gonna need, how much this building's gonna cost, and what the prospective plans are gonna look like, and prospective views, so we could show it to the public, then, at that point, we will be halting operations temporarily. And so, I think, Nevin would probably agree that once we get another 30 days under our belt, or 60 days, all the pieces of the puzzle will start coming together, and then this court can make a decision as to, you know, what they're gonna do.
Hopefully by the last meeting in April, we'll have all the
Yes.
details that we need to present.
As tight as I was during the last, and I'm just speaking personally, during the last budget time, it's very hard for me to try to take this money out of contingency, because that was something we were so set against. But since sitting on this committee, I've looked at every avenue. I mean, I don't see any other way of doing this. I mean, we gotta get those people out of there, and so hopefully we can get this grant, and it will help us, and we can go from there.
And Toy says it's gonna happen, right?
It's gonna happen.
Okay.
If we get the grant, it'll be much easier to put this together, there's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
And if the court decides, and if it's a large amount, well, then I think we'll probably have to go for a bond. But if we can get by without a bond, if we found out that we're gonna get some money from USDA, and then we make a combination of low interest, no interest loans or something like that, then if we could put together a reasonable amount out of contingency fund, or we could put all these things together, then it's possible we might not even have a delay, 60 days, we might be ready to go right on into construction.
Be good.
But a lot of these things will, and Nevin and I discussed all these things with the architect and with the construction manager at risk. 60 days from now, I think we will have a better feel as to where we're gonna be going on all this.
Excellent. Well, my concern today was just making sure we could pay them if we hired them, that we had the opportunity to do it, you know.
Well, it sounds like the most will be $7,500 for pre-construction, is that right?
And then you would have some architect fees, because they earn by percentage at different steps.
I think they are included in this 25, aren't they? Wasn't that 17,000
Yes.
for the architect?
Yeah,
So that's
okay,
already been
so
covered.
they're covered,
Yes, sir.
okay.
All right, any other discussion?
No. Thank you, Nevin.
Thank you.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to award the proposal for construction manager at risk.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Roberts and a second by Commissioner Pelt to award proposal for construction manager at risk of new courthouse health services annex/storage building to Daniels Construction. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Before we adjourn, just a moment, hang on just a minute. Just before we adjourn, Teresa, are you still here? We have a winter weather advisory. We just completed a conference call this morning about 9:20, and we just want to relay this information to everyone regarding the upcoming winter weather.
Good morning. The National Weather Service in Lake Charles issued a freezing rain advisory for most of the region, including Hardin County. Light rain or freezing rain should develop through this afternoon and extend into the evening hours before tapering off towards daybreak Tuesday. accumulations will be 0.01 inch along the I-10 corridor from Beaumont to Lake Charles, and to around 0.15 inch in East Texas and Central Louisiana. They don't foresee any major power outages, but the main problem will be icy roads and bridges. We will have an update at 4 p.m. today to let you know more about it. I sent the email out to all the department heads.
Thank you.
Stating if they want to come to the conference call at 4 p.m., they're welcome to. Yesterday, we thought it wasn't going to come as far south as it has, but it's looking like it's heading a little bit further south. So we'll keep you updated.
Thank you, Teresa.
I move with adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. We stand adjourned.